And well, George, thanks. You're late, but somehow
I
uh,
sent you a text. Sorry you didn't see it.
that you were away. Yeah. So at any rate, I've been talking a few minutes, but I'm Teresa, Elamine, and Kimberly. I believe this is the first time we're meeting. Is it?
No, I did come to your event, was it earlier this month? I think
Oh,
Rob was on your panel and it was sometime earlier this month.
no, it was May 16th.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It was
Pushing my
May
days together.
16th where
Okay.
Rob spoke on the panel.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was May 16th. So
Okay. So a month ago.
about a
Yeah.
month ago.
Yes. Okay.
But at any rate, I'm the board chair and
Okay.
founder of the Southern Anti-Racism Network. And our Georgia project is about affordable housing.
Okay.
So we're working with people in Atlanta and Albany and Warner Robins and kind of all over
Okay.
to deal with the crisis because it's affecting all these areas.
Mhm.
Now, Denise, would you please introduce yourself?
So I'm Denise Cambridge, and a member of the community, I guess, community member. I don't know why. I'm sorry about that. But Denise Cambridge, community invested and interested community member here in Columbus, Georgia. My focus is really around educational equity, but we know how housing affects that for our students and them having stable housing in their education. So that's why I'm here and a part of the conversation.
I'm sorry. I've got
Thank you.
those
And
dinging.
George, if you could just introduce yourself quickly, and then Kimberly can start.
Yes. Good morning. I'm George Friday. I live in Gastonia, North Carolina. I am a lifelong member of the Southern Anti-Racism Network and happy to be helping in any small way.
Nice to meet you all. Okay. My name is Kim Mitchell. I'm sorry. I've got so many things dinging over here. I'm trying to close them, but let's see if I close that. Okay. So I am the assistant director for the city's community reinvestment department. I have been here since August of last year, so 10 months. I come from, I have a planning background, urban planning. Um, I actually worked for local government in the Atlanta area and then switched over to some consulting, and now I'm doing this. But I'm pretty familiar with a lot of these issues. I'm from Georgia. I've been involved in Georgia in a lot of different things. So I may know some of the things that you guys are talking about or working on. I may be familiar with some of them already, and happy to learn from you guys and hear more about what you're doing. So I think your question, Ms. Elamine, is about our ARP, our ARPA funds. So the city allocated, let me see if I can find the exact numbers, but the city allocated several $1 million. So we received millions of dollars from through the ARPA funding to do kind of whatever the city wanted to do. I think they allocated about $3 million to affordable housing. There's also, I think maybe 1 million or 1.5 million each dedicated to utility assistance as well as housing rehab. So those are the funding streams that we will be implementing through this office. We are currently, we have an open position. I don't think it's been filled yet. Rob is working on hiring for that position, but it's a position to administer the ARP funding. So we're working on that. I think we have until the end of next year to allocate. And then I think we have maybe 2 or 3 years to spend all of that funding. I think the challenge is that, we've got to put some things in place to actually make these projects go forward and spend the money. So we've got to put in some infrastructure pretty quickly. For example, for the rehab program, I think one of the things that we're going to be doing is creating a waiting list so people can apply online. We'll go ahead and vet them, and then they can select, either they can select or we can help them select a contractor to do the work on their property. But these things are all kind of being worked on. It's really Rob's wheelhouse, so unfortunately you're getting kind of not the best explanation, because this is all his kind of his baby. But hopefully this is a good overview and I can take down any questions you have. As far as the affordable housing side of it, I think it's still being built out. So one of the things that we're looking to do, obviously, is to partner with other organizations to create affordable housing. But as you know, $3 million is not a lot in terms of the need compared to the need. So that's kind of where we are right now with ARPA. We have other standing programs that I'm sure you guys are already aware of: our CDBG, our home program. We have a home ARP program, which is specifically designed to assist with homelessness, people who are at risk of homelessness. So that is what we have so far. I can try to maybe look up some more details if you're interested in more of the details of the funding and all of that. But as I'm saying, everything right now is still being formed. So this is a good time for us to have a conversation, for you guys to give input about how you think that things should be done, or what your thoughts are.
So the funds that you all currently have, you will stream those funds into the different programs or entities in the community organizations, or will some of those funds go directly to individuals that may have homes that may be needing redevelopment or upgrading or anything like that? Is it open to individuals as well as, or just organizations?
Well, specifically for the rehab, I think like I said, I think what we're going to do is target individuals. So people will have an opportunity to apply online, and then we'll just work our way through the wait list. Now, it probably would be to our interest to work with organizations for the development of affordable housing. I think Rob's been having meetings with realtors and different people who have input on that. Perhaps talking to landlords who, well, that's more on the rehab side, but we were talking about coordinating with landlords who need to have upgrades so that they can basically bring their housing back into the housing stock. Things like that. So, it's kind of like I'm saying, it's pretty open right now. We don't have anything set in stone. And mostly because it's not a significant amount of money. So we're building the vision. Any other questions or input? I'm sure you guys have done a lot of research.
You were gonna make more of a presentation, but you seem to be saying that things are in flux. When I saw Rob Scott speak at City Council meeting, he gave a date for the opening of applications and a drop dead deadline. And I believe the drop dead deadline is July 24th. So that's the presentation I'm expecting you to make, Kimberly, is how do people apply and why is there a drop dead deadline of July 24th? And exactly what sort of applications are people submitting? That's what I was hoping that Rob Scott would do, but he sent you in his place. So the expectation is that you would do what he was asked to do. Are you capable of doing that today?
Well, let me see what all he shared with you. Now, this was at the last council meeting.
Yeah, at the city council meeting, he put up a little PowerPoint and he even sent it to me because I asked him for it. But it was very clear, and the city manager chimed in. Absolutely, deadline July 24th, 5 p.m., no fooling. So if you want to hop off the call and get to Rob, who sent you here unprepared, it appears, to find out what it is that he knows about the RFP that's out. Do you see it?
Okay, let me just take a look before I hop off, because I can look while I'm here. So let me just look and see if I can find it, and maybe I can explain, because it looks like you're looking for some hard deadlines. But like I said, we're still hiring. I mean, we haven't put together the infrastructure around the program. So there may be some deadlines, but let me research it real quick and then I will come back.
Yeah. Why don't you research it? Because he provided very clear opening and deadline.
Okay, I'll be back.
While she's doing that, let me just say, Denise, that I'm looking at July dates for our next affordable housing justice event at the library. And what I received yesterday from Reginald Thompson at the municipal court is all the dispossessories that Whisperwood has filed since January of 2022. For the whole year of 2022, they filed 69 dispossessions. things have gotten so bad here at Whisperwood that in this year alone, January, February, March, April, May, 101 dispossessors have been filed. So you know by the end of the year, it's going to be over 200. And I'm going to be one of them because they're not getting another dime from me. And it takes so long for the municipal court to get you a court date in 4 months. I would have saved $5,000 and I'll simply just move. So when we get to court, it'll be a moot point, so to speak, because I'll be in my new apartment, which after this meeting, I'm going to look for. And I think I know a place where I'm going to move to, which is called Highlands 2, off of Veterans, where the Mercedes-Benz place is. So I'm going to go there and try to see what I can find. But the sad thing that went on last night is less than 300 votes that decided the election. And talking with Lakeitha this morning, Denise, she's still in denial. She ran a lousy campaign and she lost by 2 votes. She's saying, well, it's not official yet. And I'm like, woman, just get ready to run in the spring of 2024, because that same seat is going to come up in the spring of 2024. Pat Freight is going to have to defend the seat. And it's probably going to be several other people running, not just the 2 of them, because people are already now trying to figure out how they're going to run for that seat who live in District 7. And I don't live in District 7. So, will you please unmute yourself, Kimberly? I couldn't read exactly what you wrote in the chat.
Oh, Denise had posted the presentation, and I found it as well in the packet, in the council packet from May 9th. So, and I think this is why.
Wait, before you start, let me explain to the person who just joined us that she's in the wrong meeting. Hi, Noma. This is a meeting in Columbus, Georgia, for people in the United States. The meeting for the Global Peace Women United Against NATO is tomorrow.
Yes, so I'm in Africa. So African women, are they not supposed to join today's meeting?
Oh, no, the African women are joining the meeting tomorrow and the meeting on Friday.
Oh, so, okay. Oh,
yeah, the Africa Working Group meets on Friday at 10 a.m. The Global Women Large Group with all the Europeans and everybody, that will meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. George, do you have Noma's email? Unmute yourself, George.
Yes, I absolutely do. And I'll make sure, Noma, that you have the correct registration link. I'll send it to you after this meeting ends.
Yeah, okay. This is just a local meeting for those of us in the United States, basically mostly of African descent, who are fighting for affordable housing and other kind of justice.
You're good. I'm gonna get some line over the phone and I'll give you a call.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you, Noma. It's the wrong meeting.
Thank you very much. So see you, some of you tomorrow. Tomorrow's meeting.
See you tomorrow.
I think I've also confirmed for tomorrow's meeting. So I don't think you need to send me. Then I will join tomorrow's meeting. Thank you very much and good luck, ladies.
Well, what country are you?
I'm in South Africa.
Oh, you're in South Africa. Okay,
yes.
Great. We're looking forward because we want to hear about the new development bank and the BRICS and stuff that South Africa is involved in. Do you know about that?
I can get the information, and then maybe tomorrow I can just give just a high level. I can just give a high level information.
Okay, be sure to have it by Friday.
Yes, I'm saying about the development bank and BRICS. I don't have with me now, but I can get that information, and then tomorrow we can give a high level report to that effect.
Well, you won't be able to do it tomorrow, but you could do it on Friday when we have the Africa Working Group meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
So let me leave. Bye.
Kimberly, you said you found the information.
Let me share my screen. Oh, okay. I can't share my screen, but I can, what I'll do is just go back over this. So,
George, can you give Kimberly the ability to share her screen?
You should be fine, Kimberly.
okay. Thank you. All right. Okay, can you see my screen?
This is very important because I'm remembering now as part of the American Rescue Plan, which there's lots of controversy about it. So the Affordable Housing Initiative, that's a part of the American Rescue Plan. So here's Lakeitha Ash, the school board member, not. So let's let her in. Let's just hold a moment to make sure Lakeitha is in. So, Denise, would you explain to Lakeitha where we are right now while I stop this phone?
Yeah, not a problem. So Lakeitha, we're talking with Kimberly, who is the Assistant Director of Community Reinvestment here in Columbus. And Ms. Teresa had a follow-up question to the presentation that Rob Scott gave to City Council. Not sure exactly when that presentation was given, but Kimberly is going to go over some of that information from that presentation with us now, because there's a specific question about the application process that was mentioned as a part of this affordable housing initiative. And it seems like some of those monies were allocated to Community Reinvestment Department through our office, through the American Rescue Plan Act funding that is available in our community now from the American Rescue Plan Act. So Kimberly was getting ready to go over that information with us now, and that's kind of where we are.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So this was what Rob presented at council on May 9th. See if I can just turn my volume. Okay. So I don't know if you want me to go through this entirely, but I'll just give an overview. So, I mean, we all know.
No, please, Kimberly, do a good job. Please go through it. The meeting is all about you.
Oh,
so
okay.
we have a hard stop at noon. But if you could fully explain this, it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The floor is yours.
I didn't know if I was just dropping in or what was going on. Okay, so obviously the city wanted to make sure that we were contributing some of the ARPA funding towards affordable housing. There was a push for a larger project, and it was actually scaled back to 3 million. I think they had originally asked for like 11 or something. So this initiative, of course, is to respond to the crisis in our community. And what we wanted to do was this is really for your developers, for those organizations, entities, companies that can basically take the funding and to develop housing. And he mentioned taking a blended approach. I think this basically is, how do we either use public-private or have maybe mixed income? Let's come up with some creative ways to develop affordable housing using the $3 million creatively, whether it be seed funding or however we can do it. As I mentioned before, it's about a $3 million budget. Rob kind of set aside 300,000 as the developer fee, with 2.7 going to the development budget. Some of the options that we had in mind, of course, rental housing and then home ownership. And then our target population would be those with lower incomes. So we want to make sure that it's affordable. Typically, we've gone off of 80% AMI as the affordability threshold. Recently, I was on Twitter and one of my old professors was like, actually, I think affordability should be at 50% AMI. I'm like, I'm going to vote you on that. So, but I think that, you know, overall, we still abide by the 80%, but keeping in mind that sometimes incomes really are lower, that, you know, we should focus always on that moderate income. Sometimes there needs to be a focus on truly the lower income, or somewhere between 30 and 80% AMI. And I say 30 to 80 because the 0 to 30 is the target of the housing authority. Okay, so I think I'm repeating. Huh, okay, yeah, those slides repeated. So obviously we would like to use this funding as a way to develop a capital stack. And the idea is to work through partners to provide additional affordable housing units. Okay, now this is what you were referring to, Ms. Elamine, is this date of July 10th. Okay, the reason that, going back to what I was saying earlier, this was kind of tentative. And I think even though it was expressed in the council meeting as July 10th as the closing date, there are just areas where we are still trying to piece together this program. We are still hiring for a person to operate the program. So even though it says July 10th, I think this was more so our aspiration. What we are doing is looking for proposals. So this goes back to saying, you know, if you guys have ideas, there may be, obviously this is targeted towards your developer type of entity, but we are open to just even thinking about ideas of how to approach the funding. But I would not say that this is a hard deadline. This is a flexible deadline that is based upon our ability to get proposals in and then to implement them. So it's June 21st. And we, like I said, we have not selected a person as our ARP coordinator yet. I think that's their job title. So we may be looking at July 10th as even a date when a person would even start in that role, if that. So I would say this is something we can continue to discuss. If you and your team, if you have projects, if you guys know even small developers out there that are like, you know, hey, we really want to do a small multifamily project. We want to do some missing middle housing. We want to do a quadruplex. We want to do a couple of duplexes, you know, and these are projects that are not as large, not, you know, huge multifamilies, but, you know, smaller projects that you guys know of people who are interested in doing them or have the capacity to do them. Send that information to Rob. Have them send an email. And don't worry about the July 10th. Just go ahead and send your information. And so when we do really get up and running, we can take those into consideration. I think there's another slide here about when awards will be notified. Again, don't worry about that right now. Go ahead, and if you have ideas or if you know of people, go ahead and send information, but we're still building. but this is the closing date, June 2026. So even though, you know, we are kind of still getting it together, this is the date when all the funds have to be completed. So ideally, it would be easy for us to do a one large project, just throw all the money in one project and we're done. That would be easy. But it's supposed to be competitive, so you know, we would love to see what the diversity of ideas are, and yeah, I hope that that's more thorough for you, Ms. Elamine, and answers your questions.
Well, it really is encouraging, Kimberly. I'm so glad you came to make this presentation. And if you could email it to me, the PowerPoint with these dates, because the Affordable Housing Initiative timeline is important. So the applications, just to be clear, are being taken now.
Yes, people can send their proposals. I mean, I would say you have a few months if people want to, even if it says, I know it says July 10th, and I guess I don't want you to take this timeline and then want to, you know, like just feel like, okay, well, this is what it says. This is flexible and it was tentative just to present and kind of give ourselves something to strive for internally in the department. This is what we hoped to accomplish, but everything takes a bit more time, unfortunately. So I would say please continue. If you know people, have them send things, even if it's August, even if it's September, just send it. We will look, consider it, see how we can plug it in. If it can't fit with this, there's always other opportunities that we may come across ways for it to fit into other funding streams, etc. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
So,
but I can
Denise,
still send this to you. I'll still send this to you, but I don't want you to just, you know, limit yourself to this.
Well, you say it's flexible. Well, I think it will be decided in different places because the city manager was very hard-nosed about the July 10th applications closing. So if Rob Scott has worked it out with the city manager so that that's no longer a hard deadline, I will ask the city manager when I speak before city council on the public agenda, June 27th, which, by the way, will be my birthday, and I'll be 75 years old. And I am speaking on the public agenda about evictions and affordable housing. So it's going to be perfect to bring up the excellent job that Kimberly Mitchell did at our meeting explaining it. And I will definitely because the mayor, he always writes down when employees get commendations. So I will give you a commendation before the public agenda where the whole city will see that Kimberly Mitchell, she can pivot and get it together and do a great job because this is exactly the presentation that I was expecting from Rob Scott.
Okay. I'm sorry, and I think maybe we didn't get on the same page, so I apologize for that. But I'm glad we were able to fix that and come back, and you guys got what you needed. So yes, and again, like I was saying, these are not that I know you're going to mention the deadlines and everything. Even though I'm sure that the city manager is interested in having these being hard deadlines. I just want to provide the context that realistically we're still working on it in the background. So But yeah, I will share this with you guys. And actually, Denise already sent, she had it already. It might have been a different, let's see. Because
Denise, are you there?
Let me see. Let me stop sharing so I can find.
Yes. I just found that link on the community reinvestment website. They had an affordable housing tab, and that presentation was
Okay.
So
yeah.
I just
Yeah, we're updating everything. So okay, so and this one that you have says July 24th. So let's see.
Now, Lakeitha, you have your hand up. What would you like to say or ask, Lakeitha?
Well, I was just going to request if I can get this information emailed too, but I just heard Denise say that it's out there on the community reinvestment website, because I'm definitely interested in having more information as far as, is there an application process, or is it just a proposal that you have to submit, or information on it, and how does this work? If you have land, am I able to submit a proposal or submit an application for something of this sort to have?
Anybody is, Lakeitha, any citizen. So this is the deadline dates that I heard at City Council. What's showing now, applications will open May 24, 2023, and close July 24, 2023. And the city manager made a real point of saying 5 p.m. on July 24th, the hard deadline. So the applications are supposed to be mailed to scott.robert@columbusga.org. But this is the hard deadline for the Community Reinvestment Department requesting proposal to address the Columbus affordable housing crisis. So I think that it can't just be about brick and mortar. It has to be about working for renters' rights. And so I'm going to put in an application to build our movement so that we get a grant to build our movement to educate tenants about their rights. Because I'm in a fight with Whisperwood right now. So Whisperwood has tried to evict 170 people since January of 2022. In the whole year of 2022, they tried to dispossess 69 people. In the first 5 months of this year, I have the list with all the people's names because it's public information. And when I did an open records request to the municipal court clerk, he sent me all the names of people that Whisperwood tried to dispossess last year and this year. And I'm going to take that list, hopefully working with Denise and others, and find those people on Facebook and find out, why did you stop paying rent at Whisperwood? Because Whisperwood has 984 units. It's like a small town. It's an environmental nightmare. You got all of this recyclable stuff that is dumped in a dumpster or dumped in the trash. And I take my recycling to Cooper Creek, but very few people do. Nobody recycles. Can you imagine 984 units and all the recycling that's generating? It's an environmental nightmare. And I just had 2 maintenance people to leave because they put me in an apartment that's got some ooze and glue coming out of the master bathroom. They said my rent was $1,304. When I go to pay my first full month rent, I find out it's 1,422. That was in May. Then when I go to pay my full month's rent in, George, you should be letting people in. I'm ending up letting people in. But at any rate, my rent for the month of June was $1,429.94. And I'm in an apartment where the glue, I have to put down towels and rugs and everything in the master bathroom. And it is a huge, beautiful apartment. I could have enjoyed it, but not another dime of rent will I be paying to Whisperwood. July, August, September, October. And by that time, based on the high rent, I would have saved $5,000. So the rent I would have paid, the $1,400, I'll just put it in my credit union account. It's going to take them 4 months to even get a court date. And by then, I'll be moving into my new apartment. And when I go before the wonderful Stephen Smith, judge of municipal court, he knows me and knows who I am. And he knows that I'm fighting these predatory landlords. I am going to teach people in Columbus how to fight these predatory landlords. And we will get affordable housing and enough of it. It's a 5-year plan. See, those of us who have been working on this Affordable Housing Alliance, Kimberly, we're in the process of developing a 5-year plan. So it is has an election component. So people who are running for city council in 2024, they got to answer the question, do you support affordable housing and how are you going to make it happen? In 2026, when the mayor is gone, because he's got a term limit, so at the end of 2026, he will be gone, but he will be out in terms of he'll be a true lame duck. He's really a lame duck now, but the election in 2026 will elect a new mayor and a bunch of city council people. And then in 2028, the city council folks elected in 2024 are going to be up. I do have a strategy. We got to get rid of those real estate Republicans who are on the city council who have a white majority and they don't care nothing about the suffering of the poor Black people. You got the mayor, you got Glenn Davis, you got Gary Allen, you got Charmaine Crabb, you got Walker Garrett, you got Tyson Begley, you got Judy Thomas, and you got that dumb as a bat woman, Charmaine Crabb. So you got all them people up there doing us in. Time for them to go. Really. Tyson Begley just wrote me a crazy email talking about don't be talking about Charmaine Crabb. Well, Denise, you're going to see what I said to him because I'm copying you on my response. These people think they can just talk to folks any kind of way because they're white and they own city council. And I know this is being recorded and I want it to be known because I've been fighting for Black rights since I was 17 down in Lowndes County, Alabama, registering people to vote. And to be in a situation where Lakeitha Ash runs a campaign and she can't even turn out 200 voters out of over 14,000. That's how sorry it is in terms of Black folks standing up in Columbus. And I've been here 12 years, beating my head up against a brick wall when you got all those women in Farley Homes and Warren Williams and Elizabeth Canning who did not bother to show up to vote in a special election for District 7 school board because all their children go to those schools in District 7 which are all on the chopping blocks. So I am Mama Teresa, who is ready to fight for the children. And you can't have a situation where people are being evicted with children. That's what's going on right now. We need a moratorium on evictions of minor children. That's what I want the city council to pass. When there are minor children in the home, you cannot evict the people. That is the ordinance I want passed. Let's see if we can get it done. So Lakeitha and Denise, let's look at a potential July date because I do want Kimberly or Rob to come back to give us an update. And I would say somewhere after July 10th, because I know the drop dead deadline is actually July 24th. So somewhere in between July 10th and July 24th, we've been meeting on Wednesdays. And for some reason, I'm getting the feeling it's not good. So could you look at your calendars and see if you're available on July 18th, which is a Tuesday? Can you look at your calendar, Denise? Because I really want you to be here, sister.
Yes, I'm looking at it now. Hold on just a minute.
What about you, Kimberly? Are you available on July 18th? We always meet at 11 a.m. and we generally have a hard stop at noon. But I have gone over because we got a late start, so it's 12:08. So we will be closing down in the next 2 minutes. So are you available on July 18th, Kimberly Mitchell?
Yes, that's a Tuesday, right?
Yeah, and so 11 a.m. So George Friday is a lifetime member of the Southern Anti-Racism Network. So she volunteers to set up the Zoom meetings for me because I'm too old and crazy to keep track of all this stuff. So July 18th at 11 a.m. And we will notify all of the missing suspects that the COT, we call this COT, Columbus Organized Together meeting is going to be COT Zoom is going to be what it always is. And I put by George. So Scott Zoom by George, Tuesday, July 18th, 11 a.m. to noon. We're all set. So Lakeitha and George, I'll give you the full list of people because the full list of people will include Lakeitha and others. Could somebody please read what's going on in the chat? George, could you save the chat? I'm not sure what all is in the chat, but could you save the chat?
I will. The only thing really in it is a link from Denise.
And Denise,
I will save it. Yes, ma'am.
Is that the link to the community reinvestment stuff, Denise?
Yes, I see you in the text.
Well, good, George, save the chat. And when you send out the recording to all of the people who were invited, because I want them to hear everything I'm saying. Because every time I think about all these children who are trying to go to school and they've been evicted and they live in an extended stay America or living in the cars with their parents, it is a crime. So George, what was that direct message you were typing?
It was a message that I sent to you earlier when I had to step away.
Oh,
And
well.
then when I came back, that's all.
Well, we have the meeting date and time. So Kimberly, I'll be sure to email Rob Scott and tell him how glad we were that you came. Because this is really primarily a group of women. And I know that Rob kind of picked up on that. So it was very wise of him to send you.
Okay, I put my email in the chat so you can include me on your future emails.
Oh, great. George, you got it.
And feel
Mitchell.
free to
Kimberly.
Yeah, and just so in the interest of time, you know, if you want to reach out to me prior to the meeting and say, hey, we can chat on the phone for a few minutes and just say, hey, here's what we want to talk about, just so we can be clear, and I don't misuse you guys' time or anything. Feel free.
Well, do me a favor and put your direct number. And if you don't mind sharing your mobile number, that would be great, because I do like texting people, because sometimes when I get people on the phone, I found in my old age, I keep people on the phone too long, and everybody's too polite to say, I really gotta go, I really gotta go. And so if you send me your mobile number, I will text you information, because I find that I'm a little bit more efficient in texting than I am in talking. So if you could put those numbers in the chat, George will send me the chat and I'll put you in my phone. Well, this has been a very productive meeting. In terms of affordable housing, it's exactly what we needed to hear, that there is funding available to work on affordable housing. Thank you so much, Kimberly. So we're all set, George. You can close out the meeting, save the chat, and send out the video. I'll send you probably a longer list, but everybody should know what we talked about. And I'm going to send this email to Tyson Begley, and I will copy all of you on it, because it's mitchell.kimberly@columbusga.org. So I'll copy Rob Scott and you, Kimberly, because they may tell you you can't talk to me anymore, because I am take no prisoners at this point. So have a good day. I'm going to look for my, what, Kimberly?
Before, one more thing, I just wanted to encourage Miss Ash, if you please do send your proposal. I mean, even if you have property, just go ahead and submit it and say, you know, you're open to doing residential on your property or whatever. I just wanted to open that up and just let you know, as he mentioned, talking about capital stacks, talking about all that, it will be about building good projects. So sometimes we have to be collaborative to build them. So please submit your idea.
Okay, thank you so much.
That's all. Thank you. I didn't mean to hold you up.
Well, we're all set. Thank you, George. Save everything and send it, because I'm getting ready to send out my don't mess with me email.
All righty then. Bye.
Love you.
All right. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. Lord, there we go.